What is up, my goons? This is the Lorcana Goons channel. You are watching our market watch. Today is Monday, September 25th. It is a good day for Lorcana, I think. Let's go ahead and check out some of this cool stuff. If you were watching the market watch from last week, be sure to check out that video, as well as our other videos, and like, comment, subscribe for more Lorcana activity, right? So I want to go over a couple things today. First, obviously, the sealed product again. The boxes have not really changed in price, neither has the starter decks and neither has the troves. And as for usual, do not buy the pre-orders of Chapter 2. Goes without saying, just wait. At this time around, be prepared to find an LGS around your store. Obviously, I understand that you guys want to find the MSRP or closest to it, but some LGSs are not going to do that. So I don't know. Try and take advantage instead of paying these crazy, absurd prices that we have here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the pre-sale game. As I said before. So don't buy the pre-sales of Chapter 2. But let's go ahead and go into the first thing that I want to go over, which is the Enchanted Elsa, everybody's favorite chase card of the season, season 1 Lorcana, which has been going back up in price, steadily above that $700 mark, and these look organic now. This does not look like anything too fishy, in my opinion. As you can see over the course of this week, since the 18th, the last time I left you guys, we were in that 700 mark, bouncing off close to the end, close to the beginning of 800, and now we've had some decent sales, well over 700, even in the 800 mark. So, and then when you go to the listings, there's only 9 listings. Only a handful are verified listings, and the lowest verified listing has only 453 sales at 825, and then it goes all the way up to 1,000 from this dude who has 2,000 sales. And the reason I bring that up is because it is important to note certain things like that when looking at cards online, at least TCG Player, just because it is the industry standard that I know we go off of whenever I do business with people. So if you were picking up Elsa's from the 500 to 600, even $700 mark, it looks like it might have been worth it for you, right? Because now they're gonna be steadily over 800. We'll see if this comes down. There are still those rumors about reprints happening. There's the second wave that's supposed to be coming in October, and then the reprint in next year. But for now, this is the chase card, and this is gonna keep those boxes at a good price. And then these are some other enchanteds that are not that high. None of them really reached the peaks that Elsa's reaching, but Belle, Strange but Special Alternate Art, is a cool enchanted that seems to be bubbling over the $300 mark. I think this is one to look out for, just because there's a big rise in popularity for the Sapphire deck. Princesses in Lorcana are gonna definitely be something to collect, I think. And one of the things I've noticed about this enchanted in particular is that it has multiple hidden Mickeys, which is kind of cool. There's one in the book right there, and there's one in the scroll. The hidden Mickey thing is pretty fun, actually. I didn't realize that a lot of the Lorcana cards had hidden Mickeys, so who knows? Maybe that might end up adding some eventual collector value. But obviously, like, this is more of a TCG market, so I'm not really focused too much on like the collectible aspect of the enchanteds, outside of like years from now when you still have these mint condition or even, let's say, PSA graded. But for now, if you want to play these or start to get them, they are still a little pricey, especially along with the Maui Enchanted. This one is a little bit under $2 bills, $200. I'm surprised, to be honest. I thought that this Enchanted would have been a little bit more expensive, just because the card is pretty powerful. We see it a lot in Ruby Amethyst, but maybe the artwork itself isn't like too crazy, and Maui isn't really the most notable Disney character. So I do like to note those kinds of things when comparing Enchanted, something like Belle, to somebody like Maui. This was voiced by The Rock Johnson, so maybe if you get a Maui Enchanted signed by The Rock, maybe that'll go up in price. I know somebody else mentioned that it was Pokies. I'll go ahead and put his his channel in the description. But yeah, man, definitely interesting to see that there's enchants that are less than $200 right now. And even some of these light blades are getting sold for a decent amount. As you can tell, people are obviously using the Maui to play. and they're still selling for close to 200. I do think that some of these enchanteds are undervalued. I don't have the ability to get them myself right now. I'm missing some funds, but I do want to look into collecting some enchanteds. But let's go on to the actual rare Maui. The last time we left this off, the rare Maui was somewhere a little closer to, I want to say, $5, $6. Like we hit like a bottom, and now it's starting to spike back up close to the $10 mark. You go into the lowest verified is 850, and then a little bit further down, it stays around 850, close to $9. So Maui is about to hit a $10 mark again, guys. I'm glad. It was a very underpriced card last week. I want to say a little closer to the $5 to $6 range, and this card is definitely a card that only gets better over time as well. With Chapter 2, we already know Dinner Bell comes out in Chapter 2, and that's going to make Maui a cool interaction because you get to draw cards if he's damaged, and send him to the discard pile. So I think this is a warranted price for Maui. I don't know if it'll go over $10. Nobody really knows, right? This isn't financial advice, but I've been picking up Maui's because I want to have these in my arsenal for when Chapter 2 comes out, because I just do feel like cards are going to be just as hard to get when Chapter 2 launches as they are right now to get. So if Chapter 2 is getting us to play different decks and getting more people into the game, that means people are going to want to collect cards like Maui, right? Speaking of like cards that are getting collected and needed for the game right now, John Silver has had a huge spike over the weekend. Last week, I don't know if I looked at John Silver last week, but it was not anywhere near $20. And today I woke up and I checked the pricing, and the lowest TCG verified is going to be $15 plus $5 shipping, $20, $20. You can obviously go to an unverified seller. It'll be $16, $17. Hey, look, there's me. There's mine. YGO memes Kevin. That's $18. So as you can see, John Silver bumping up in price. I wonder why this is. I mean, there's been a huge rise in Emerald popularity over the week. A bunch of deck lists are playing Emerald, and I think John Silver was a legendary that a lot of people were pulling and just kind of getting rid of because they didn't want to like experiment with the card. They didn't think it like warranted play, and this was like a $7 legendary when it first came out, and now it's peaking at like $20, right? Just goes to show that you don't really know what's going to happen to the market, especially when there's only 43 listings. That's one of the things too, is scarcity. Scarcity makes a huge impact, and I actually I had like 7 John Silvers in my binder the last 2 weeks, and I probably sold like 2 of them, one of them being a foil. And I still have like 5 in my binder, and I just wasn't getting rid of them because like I would get a lot of low ball offers on cards like this, and I just strongly felt like, this card's pretty good. Like if I don't sell it right now for $7 to $10, I'm gonna play it in a deck. You know what I mean? So very good to see that it's at a $20 mark, because that's definitely a warranted price in my opinion. Yeah, John Silver, the Alien Pirate. I like this card a lot, and it's also gonna get better when Chapter 2 comes out. We already know that Bell comes out as a legendary with an effect that you can combo off with John Silver's reckless ability. So yeah, John Silver, man. If you missed out, I'm sorry. The cold foils are only $5 more, so if you want to collect some cold foils right now before those spike up in price too, maybe you should. But who knows how high this card will go? It is a legendary. We've seen some of the legendaries in the set reach up to $30, $40. So who knows? It's already higher than Ursula, but I think the rising popularity in Emerald is the reason for that. A lot of people are switching their decks up. The Ruby Amethyst deck that also plays Ursula, also plays the Mali Dragon. I'm bringing this up because this card is about $40 still. It kind of and you can find a lot of listings from unverified sellers for less than $40. So that's kind of like a scarcity thing. Yeah, I like to go by TCG verified by X amount of sales they have to lowest, but in some cases like this, since there's so many unverified sellers on that listing, you notice it brings down the average like market price like under $40, which is kind of crazy because I think this card is pretty good. It's a 9 drop, and it's one of the only power like cards in the game right now that has an effect that immediately removes cards from the field, right? It's a walking Dragonfire. It is limited to you playing a deck with Ruby in it. But it just seems such a powerful card. Pulling this as a foil always seems nice, and then I just think this is gonna hold some nostalgia in the future if you're into collecting, right? So maybe you do want to collect this as a cool foil. Under $40 seems a little too low for me. I'm gonna go over these league promos because these are just bouncing up and down. You got this little hill right here, this little bump, little fake bump. So last week from like the 8th to the 14th. These all got bought out. Somebody was buying these all the league promos. It was the Yzma, the Hey Hey, and the Mickey. So like a group of goons were buying these out. The price was super inflated, and then over the week, I guess more people won their league, and they just got a bunch of Yzma promos. So it went all the way back to $9. Yeah, it went from 9 to 17, 18, $20 almost back to 9. So if you had Yzmas and you sold them, you came up. But as of right now, your Yzmas are back down to $9. Same thing goes with the Hey Hey Boat Snack. I love saying his full name. But yeah, same thing. It's got a little bump right here because there was a little bit of an inorganic buy and sell off, and this one kind of bounced off the $20 mark. It didn't really hit $20, but yeah, it had this really big buyout, and now there's just a bunch of listings now. A lot of people obviously have these in their pocket, and they're getting sold for $9. Over a couple of days ago, they were still in the 10, 12, $13 range, but yeah, now you can find them under $10. However, the Mickey League promo, this one still only has like a limited amount of listings. Still at that $20 ish range from last week, but there's only 2 listings in that $20 range, bro. And if you go past those 2, you're hitting 25, 26, 27. This is probably the league promo that you're going to want to really look out for, hold on to. If you're trying to collect a bunch of them, this is probably the promo you want to collect. No offense to the Yzma or the Hey Hey. They're cool cards, and I'm gonna keep that league set of mine as a collection for a while. I think it's gonna hold some cool nostalgia for me too because I won 2 of those. But the fact that the Mickey is a card that you can sell, it kind of for some funds, it's pretty cool because you can actually play your league tournament, win this, and then go ahead and make some bread off it after you sell it, right? And if you've been collecting these when they were dipping under $20, then you're gonna come up, right? Because now they're definitely gonna be 25, maybe 30 soon. Who knows? I do like that though. I do like that the league, at least one of the league promos, is holding its value because the other 2 seem to be just like getting thrown out there, and they're all getting bought on and they're all getting sold. So it seems very wishy-washy with the other league promos. Brave little Taylor Mickey, coming back a little from the recovery that it had. It had like a dramatic drop. I feel close to like under $20, and I want to say now if we go to the most recent verified seller, it's gonna be over $20. So if you were getting these for under $20, that is a solid deal. Now you're looking at least 21 for a verified seller on TCG for the Brave Little Taylor Mickey. I think this card is gas. I think this card is really good. I think it's one of the only cards that has 4 lore in the game, and it has evasive. The stats are a little weird. The 5 willpower does make it susceptible to grab your sword smash, things like that. And obviously it can get hit by Genie and a bunch of cards that just have removal power. But it's still a 4 lore evasive, and there's nothing else like it in the game. And it's still the face of the card, right? It's really nice to see that it's above $20 again, because when this card was selling for under $20, I felt like that was a steal. I was actually buying some in. People were selling them for 15s and stuff like that. 16s, 17s over the week, last week, and it was a pretty cool card time to buy these Mickeys. A lot of people just weren't playing them. They just don't want it in their deck, and I understand it if it doesn't have any actual application for you right then and there. But it just seems like a card that will probably be good in like an evasive style meta. Cusco. I'm gonna bring up Cusco every market watch because probably one of my favorite cards in the game in general. No touchy is a very strong effect, but look at this beautiful trend. Look at this uptrend right here that we've been going on since for the last week or so. Cusco is just gonna keep climbing. I think the value that this card has is gonna like outlive like the market itself, right? It's always gonna be a good card to have. It's still like at $15, I would say, arguably $15. But there was a last week when I was going over it, there were some sellers that were selling it for less than $15. So maybe this will have a Jon Snow level effect. Maybe a lot will get bought out and the price will go back up to 20. We did see Cusco at $20 at one point, like hitting pretty hard above even that $20 mark. So now that it's kind of having its recovery, we'll see how high it actually does stabilize at. But I'm thinking it's going to be higher than $15. That's just my opinion. A lot of Emerald decks topped over the weekend. Some like locals that were actually like 50 plus players, and we have videos on those. But I know we're not the only ones making videos on those. There's a lot of people who are posting these deck lists. A lot of people trying them on Pixelborn, and little by little, we're starting to see like what holds weight in the meta. And Cusco just seems like such a powerful card, guys. Like such a good card. card. I don't see why this is a 20 not $20 again. But my opinion, I think it's a really good card. Let It Go. Let It Go was like at $5 last week when we was talking about it, and now it's jumping all the way back up to a close to $10 mark. I love to see that. Look at that market price 565, and boom, almost market price 863. Hey, and that's going by market price, guys. That's like an average, right? But if you look at the verified sellers, it goes from $8 to $9 pretty quick. This guy only got 244 sales, so the next the person with the highest sales that is verified on TCG is selling Let It Go at $9. This is something interesting. I had like a bunch of Let It Goes, and I traded them when they were probably like $7, $8, and they fell to 5. And I kept on like trying to collect more, but nobody was getting rid of them. And everyone was kind of picking them up for their deck actually. Sapphire is another deck that was kind of underrated. That's seeing a lot of popularity now, and you need 4 Let It Go in every Sapphire deck. And this is a rare too. I almost feel like some of the rares in this set are way more sought out. They're sought after as opposed to a lot of the supers. Some of the supers in the set seem very situational, but a lot of the rares seem like mandatory 4 ofs in a lot of whatever color you're choosing. So if you're playing something like Sapphire Ruby, then you need 4 Let It Go and 4 Be Prepared. If you're playing something like Sapphire Emerald, you need 4 Cusco and 4 Be Prepared. Yeah, this being one of the mandatory staples you need in the any Sapphire deck, is definitely gonna warrant a certain kind of demand for it. So I'm really glad to see that this price is trickling upward, because this is just another card where like I felt like $5 is way too cheap for a mandatory rare you need in a deck. If we're paying $12 to $15 for Lilos now, $15 Cuscos, this card is inkable, so it's already better than a lot of those cards. So yeah, I would even go as far as to say that under $10 might be a little too low also. So if you're looking to get Let It Goes right now, I probably would still get them now if they're less than $10. Same goes for this next card, Hans. Hans was super. Look at this chart. Oh my goodness, Hans has been just freaking me out, because I've seen this card go from like over $10 to under like $5 and then back up. I like that it's trickling upward, but I will never understand why the cold foil and the non foil are the same price with this card. Like I just don't get it. I understand it's a rare, but they're literally the same price, guys. Like if you're gonna buy a foil Hans, I mean, if you're gonna buy a non-foil Hans, you might as well just buy a foil Hans at this point, right? And you look at the listings, there's way less listings for cold foil Hans. So I don't understand that one. Someone please explain that little phenomenon to me, why those are the exact same price. But nevertheless, Hans is not a $6 rare anymore. It's trickling up about $2, higher, which is good. This is another rare in the Emerald deck, another rare in a color-based deck that feels very mandatory. Most of the time, you want to play a card like Hans that has 3 lore. You need that. You need that advantage in the deck. And now seeing that demand rise, we're starting to see the value of Hans, which is probably going to be a $10 rare. I think that's a decent price right now that the cards are scarce. It'll go down. I don't think that a 3 lore vanilla will last very long in the meta, So if you're like trying to collect Hanses for the long run, I don't think that's maybe that's why the cold foil is not like super crazy, because you kind of already know that a vanilla is not gonna last very long, like past chapter 1, right? Because it is a vanilla effect. It's just 4/3 with 3 lore that you can add to it. So that's what I'm assuming. You get. I don't know if you didn't get those and you need to get them now for your deck. I'm sorry you missed out, but now you're gonna have to pay a little higher for that, a little premium. And then last, I'm just gonna go over some cool cold foils. So if you have any cold foil staples, if you don't know what a staple is, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to teach you. A staple is basically like those mandatory 4-ofs that I was talking about. Dragonfire being a staple in a Ruby deck, right? Because you need Dragonfire in every deck that is going to be Ruby based. It's such a good card. It's one of the only removal cards. A lot of staple cards like Dragonfire in this set are really expensive cold foils. And I say really expensive because ideally, right? If you pull a Dragonfire cold foil, it's going to be like $6. Maybe around like like $6, $7 even. And then if you're finding packs at MSRP, you're paying about $6 for the pack. So that Dragonfire cold foil realistically can kind of pay for the whole pack, and then everything else you pulled is plus. And imagine you pull like a Surface Stitch and a Dragonfire cold foil. That's like a free Surface Stitch. So I do like pointing out to look out for some of these cool cold foils that are staples. Dragonfire is one of them. Smash being another one. Anything like that you think you need like in a deck 100% are always going to be about about $4 to $5. Beast Hard-Headed. This is another one. You need it right now against the Ruby Amethyst deck, and all the cold foils like that are gonna be around like $5 to $6. So be on the lookout for those. If you're pulling those cold foils that aren't necessarily rares, super rares, legendaries, if you're not pulling an enchanted, like be sure to kind of keep some of those cards to the side, because you don't know what you're pulling. A lot of times I see people at locals kind of trading their stuff away because it's just bulk. I saw somebody give somebody a hollow smash and a hollow stitched new dog, just because they were commons. But I'm like, hey, these uncommon and common foils, they're like $4 or $5 each. You can get a play set of Cheshire Cats, maybe you can get some John Flynn's for. I mean, some Flynn Riders for those. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on those. But that has been today's Market Watch on Monday, September 25th. I'm gonna try and do these Market Watches about bi-weekly. I want to do one every Monday where we go over the actual singles like this, and then I'll do another one in the week and we'll go over something special. So maybe we'll go over the D23 cards on this the next one this week. So keep an eye out for that. Like, comment, subscribe to Lorcana Goons. Check out the other videos we've been posting. Really appreciate you guys. You goons have a good week.